Yeah.
Okay. I want to look at two of the things that you've mentioned: foreign-dominated debt, and local denominated debt.
Yeah.
Essentially, local denominated debt is that which is taken from local banks and local institutions.
Yes.
Foreign and in local currency.
Local currency.
Now, the foreign debt is the money that is borrowed in obviously foreign currency, USD, for the most part.
Yeah.
Which of these two is the problem?
It's that's quite a loaded question. So there's no straight answer that this is the most problematic. But if you look at the domestic debt is considered commercial. The borrowing in domestic debt is considered commercial in commercial terms, where that means that if the government comes to the market or to borrow treasury bills on a weekly basis, the target is 28 billion on a weekly basis, and then on a monthly basis could be anything. Last week, the government was targeting 150 billion from the infrastructure bonds. The demand that came, or the interest that the demand from investors towards this auction was around 460 billion, and then they accepted 312 billion. So at market rates already, but though the coupon rates had already been determined, by coupon rate is now the interest that the government will be paying on this debt in any given year. So that is in commercial terms, if you look at it, the domestic debt. So depending on the prevailing circumstances, the coupon rate or the interest on this debt could be high or it could be low. In February 2024, the government issued an infrastructure bond at an interest rate of 18.5%, which is staggeringly high. In other months, we've seen 11%. Treasury bills right now are at 8% to 10, between 8% to 10%. 1.5 years ago, we were talking about 15%, 16%. So it has come low. So these are determined by the prevailing market conditions at that point. So
in Kenya?
In Kenya.
Okay.
In Kenya. If we now turn our attention to the external debt, there are three components to this. So the first is now the multilateral external debt. By multilateral is now Kenya borrowing from multilateral institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, Africa Development Bank. So those are called multilateral institutions. And then we also have bilateral loans or bilateral debts. This is now Kenya borrowing from other countries, be it China, be it US, be it France, whichever, but on a country-to-country basis. So you find that these kind of loans, they tend to be semi-concessional or concessional. So concessional could be the fact that now once you get a loan, you don't immediately repay it back. There's like a grace period, be it 5 years, 10 years. And then you find that even the term of the loan or the term of the debt is quite long. It gives the government even some breathing space to be able to repay it back over a long, extended period of time. So that's the concessional terms. We also have semi-concessional terms, which is somewhere in the not the 30 years, 40-year loan, but probably like 10 years loan, but slightly expensive. So you find that this, be it semi-concessional or the concessional loans, you find that they are kind of the interest, because on the external debt is quite low, say 5%. On the foreign currency, so it could be 5% on the dollar, 6% on whichever currency it is, external currency. And then we have now an equivalent of our local borrowing in commercial terms. Now we also have external commercial borrowing. That's where the Eurobonds come in, the syndicated loans comes in. So those tends to be anything as we've seen 8%, 9% thereabout. Now the interest that we get. So if you look at it broadly, you find that collectively the payments, the interest on external debt, because of the component of concessional terms, semi-concessional terms, some of them have zero interest payments, zero interest costs on them. And then you also look at the commercial loans, which are quite high. So if you combine them, you find that the servicing of foreign loans is relatively low. So the split between interest that goes to foreign loans and the interest that goes to domestic loan, you find that is roughly 70 to 80% payment on the local loans, local debt, whereas the balance now is on